Let me paint a picture. You're sitting across from me. It's late. Maybe we've had a couple drinks. The room's quiet, except for the hum of a ceiling fan. You lean in and ask, "Bro, why do some women seem to lock in, while others pull away the second I start showing I care?" And I get it. You're not asking how to get her attention. You've done that. You're not asking how to sleep with her. You've done that too. You're asking about something deeper. You want to understand why she loses that fire. Once you start showing her your real self, your real interest, you're tired of the games, the cold texts, the fake indifference. So tonight, I'm going to tell you the truth no one ever told us growing up. How to make a woman truly connect with you. Not just lust after you, but lock eyes with you and feel something real. But it starts with one truth. You have to stop trying to impress her and start letting her feel you. First thing, she doesn't fall for your status. She falls for your energy. Let me tell you a quick story. A while back, I was at this rooftop bar, one of those spots where everyone's dressed sharp, the lighting's low, and the vibe screams, "Look at me." You know what I'm talking about. There's this one guy near the fire pit, tall, confident, talking loud enough to make sure half the place hears him. He's running through his greatest hits. I just bought a new place downtown, closed a 6-figure deal last week, hit the gym twice a day. And listen, on paper, the guy had it all. He looked like he'd been pulled straight out of a lifestyle magazine. But here's the strange part. The girls around him weren't leaning in. They weren't locked on him. They were sipping their drinks, giving tight smiles, nodding like they were sitting through a TED talk they didn't sign up for. And across the deck, total opposite vibe. There's this other guy. Simple clothes, relaxed posture, barely talking. But the woman next to him, her eyes were soft. She was laughing. Her whole body was drawn toward him, like he had gravity. That's when it clicked. Women don't fall in love with your status. They fall in love with your energy. You could show up with a car, the body, the title, the ambition, and still get overlooked if your vibe feels like you're trying too hard. Because women aren't scanning for checklists. They're feeling for frequency. That subtle pause before you answer. The quiet confidence when you look her in the eye. The way you own the moment without needing to dominate it. That's what she remembers. She's not falling for your lifestyle. She's falling for how calm you make her feel. How alive. How safe. So stop leading with your highlights. Start leading with your presence. Because if your energy's in tune, brother, she won't remember what you said. She'll remember the way her chest fluttered when you said absolutely nothing. Second thing, stop flooding her with words. Let her feel you instead. Here's where a lot of guys get it twisted. They think connection comes from being constantly available. The endless texts, the sweet good mornings, the just checking in messages, as if flooding her with attention will carve a space for them in her heart. But connection doesn't come from how often you show up. It comes from how fully you show up when you do. There's a moment that happens, rare, but unforgettable. You're with her, maybe sitting in silence, and she glances at you, really looks at you. Not at your face, but through it, into you. And in that second, the air gets still. She feels something real, something she can't put into words. like time slowed down, and there's nothing left to prove. Nothing you're trying to get from her. You're just there. No performance. No overthinking. No clever lines. Just presence. That's the kind of moment that gets lodged in her memory. Not the memes, not the emojis, but that quiet, grounded energy that says, I'm not here to impress you. I'm here because I'm already whole. When you stop chasing her attention and start owning your presence, she'll feel the difference. Not in her mind, but in her body. And long after you're gone, that feeling, it stays. Third thing, she follows the way you treat yourself. She's not watching your follow account, man. She's watching your reflection when the room is silent. Not your popularity, but your posture when no one's clapping for you. Because here's the truth. She doesn't rise to your status. She mirrors your self-respect. If you shrink to keep her comfortable, she'll sense that. If you second guess yourself, she'll question you too. But when you draw lines, calmly, without malice, when you say, this is who I am, and this is where I stand, something powerful happens. She doesn't pull away. She leans in, not because you are trying to control her, but because she can feel that you're anchored in something deeper than her approval. That's magnetic. You don't have to act cold or emotionless to get her attention. That's just noise. What truly moves her is witnessing a man who doesn't chase, not because he doesn't care, but because he's already full of self-trust, full of quiet certainty, full of boundaries he built from experience, not ego. And when you live like that, with a kind of grounded integrity, she doesn't just notice, she adjusts. Not because you told her to, but because that kind of self-respect changes the temperature of the entire room. Fourth thing, most men kill connection by trying to be perfect. Have you ever noticed the moment you start catching real feelings, something shifts? You begin walking on eggshells, watching your words, smiling more, disagreeing less, like you're auditioning for her approval instead of standing in your truth. You think, if I say the wrong thing, she might leave. But here's the irony. It's that very fear that begins to push her away. Because suddenly, you're no longer the man she was drawn to. You become an edited version, one who hides behind politeness, overcorrects, and avoids friction, like it's fire. But the fire is what draws her. Real intimacy doesn't come from polished perfection, it comes from presence. When you're raw, when you're honest, when you let her see that you're ambitious but not invincible, that you've got a backbone and a heartbeat. She doesn't need a flawless statue. She wants a man who can stand in the storm without pretending he's dry. When you give her your real, not the performance, not the curated act, but your truth, you awaken something inside her, something deeper than attraction. You awaken trust. And that's what she really wants. To feel safe in your realness. Fifth thing, stop trying to control how she sees you. Show her who you are and let her decide. A lot of men waste their energy on a silent performance. You act chill when you're actually excited. You hide your affection, just enough to keep her guessing. You hold back your real thoughts so you don't come off too much. But here's what most men don't realise. She can feel the act. She may not call it out, but women are wired for emotional truth. And the second you start filtering who you are, she starts pulling back, not because she's judging you, but because something feels off. It's like shaking hands with someone who's wearing gloves. Something's missing, but when you drop the performance, when you speak without trying to impress, feel without apologising, and exist without curating, that's when her guard drops too. Because now, she's not connecting to a role. She's meeting a man. A real man isn't the one who plays it cool. He's the one who can walk into a moment and be exactly who he is. Flaws, fire, and all. And maybe she stays. Maybe she walks. But either way, she'll remember how it felt to be around you. Because realness is rare. And when a man shows up without his mask, he doesn't just create attraction. He creates gravity. Look, connection isn't this magical thing that just happens. It's built. Slowly. Silently. And it starts with you. If you chase her, she runs. If you fake it, she senses it. But if you lead from your truth and hold that standard, no matter what, she feels that. And the right woman will move mountains to keep that connection alive. Not because you forced it, but because she felt it. In her bones. So don't waste your time trying to impress every woman. Be the kind of man who only lets connection grow where it's real. Forget chasing, forget proving, forget the scripts. Just show up fully, because that's when she doesn't just like you. She remembers you forever.